Welcome to Guyana News Updates, your essential source for the latest developments across the nation and your podcast for staying truly informed. We bring you comprehensive coverage on a wide range of topics, including major developments in the country. Today's source is quoted from iNews Guyana, where we delve into significant political shifts, particularly the ongoing hemorrhaging of members from the opposition People's National Congress/Reform, PNC/R, as highlighted by Attorney General Anil Nanlal. He noted that this bleeding continues, with more individuals expected to announce their departures from the opposition in favor of the People's Progressive Party/Civic, PPP/C. Nanlal remarked that the announcement of the 2025 general and regional elections caught them with their pants down, suggesting there may be a serious blood shortage before the elections due to this ongoing exodus. This trend involves PNC/R members joining the PPP/C ahead of the elections. Notable individuals who have recently endorsed President Dr. Irfan Ali or joined the PPP/C include Samuel Sandy, Regional Vice Chairman for Region 4 and a PNC/R member, who stated that the PPP/C remains the only political movement with the experience, competence, and inclusive vision necessary to unify our diverse society. Daniel C. Ram, executive member of the PNC/R and Region 4 chairman, who has also endorsed President Ali for a second term. Attorneys at law James Bond, who previously held senior positions within the PNC/R, and Selwyn Peters, who has represented several opposition figures, both publicly supporting President Ali. Former PNC/R Central Executive Member Dr. Richard Van West Charles, son-in-law of former President Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, believes President Ali is the leader Guyana needs now, citing his diligent work in increasing public participation. In April, former PNC member Thandi McAllister joined the PPP/C, stating she joined forces with her brother and friend Irfan because she believes in his vision. In 2023, Lance Smith, former General Secretary of the Guyana Youth and Student Movement, GYSM, and former Georgetown Mayor Patricia Chase Green, both long-standing PNC members, broke ties with the PNC to contest the local government elections with the PPP/C. Beyond the PNC/R, leaders of smaller parties have also joined the PPP/C ahead of the 2025 elections, including Shaz Ali from the Citizenship Initiative, TCI, Asha Kisun from the New Movement, TNM, Lennox Schumann from the Liberty and Justice Party, LJP. We'll keep you updated on other vital news shaping Guyana, including recent amendments to laws, such as the Criminal Law Miscellaneous Bill 2025, which will impose tougher fines and longer jail time for criminals in masks. The amendment of the Representation of the People's Act, ROPA, ahead of the 2025 elections, aimed at preventing long waits for election results. Important business developments, such as the Behari Group of companies acquiring the Pizza Hut franchise in Guyana. Local news, including the Private Sector Commission's decisions on funds collected for Madia dorm fire victims, a man found dead in New Amsterdam, and Caribbean Airlines apologizing for an incomplete map of Guyana. Don't miss out on these crucial updates and more that shape Guyana. If you find our discussions insightful and informative, hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications so you're always in the know with Guyana news updates. We're committed to providing you with the most current and relevant news from across the country. The podcast discussion begins now.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into some pretty striking claims about political shifts here in Guyana.
That's right. We're focusing specifically on recent statements about the opposition party.
And we're basing this deep dive on one main source today.
Yes, it's an article from iNews Guyana. It covers statements reportedly made by Attorney General Anil Nanlal.
So our mission really is to unpack what this specific article is telling us. We're zeroing in on its report about members supposedly leaving the opposition PNCR.
The People's National Congress Reform.
Right. And allegedly joining the ruling party, the PPPC.
The People's Progressive Party/Civic. We'll look at who the article actually names and the context it gives for these, reported moves.
And you'll notice as we go through this source, the language it reports, it's pretty vivid.
Oh, definitely. Anything but subtle, as reported.
Okay, let's dive right in then. The central claim reported in this article, made by Attorney General Nanlal, It's quite something about the PNCR.
It really is. According to this article, he claimed the party is losing a significant number of members. He used the word hemorrhaging.
Hemorrhaging. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's strong language.
Very.
And the source gives us a time and place for this.
It does. It says the Attorney General made these comments on Monday, June 2nd, 2025.
Okay, so very recently.
Yes, and it was in the National Assembly. The article connects it to a presentation he was giving on the representation of the People's Act Amendment.
And he specifically linked this hemorrhaging, as the source puts it, to the election announcement.
That's what the report says. He apparently connected it directly to the announcement of the 2025 general and regional elections.
And this is where that really striking language comes in again. The article quotes him saying...
It quotes him saying, "The wounds are gushing and it is continuing."
Gushing.
And then reportedly he added this prediction about a potential serious blood shortage before the elections.
A serious blood shortage.
Yeah, and the article explicitly links that phrase, his reported phrase, to this alleged bleeding from that side, meaning the PNCR members supposedly leaving.
Okay, so that's the dramatic frame set by the Attorney General, according to the article. Let's look at the specifics. Who does the source actually name?
Right. Who are these individuals reportedly making these moves? The article lists several people, it says, have joined or endorsed the PPPC, often noting their, previous PNCR links.
And it seems like quite a range of people based on this source.
Yes, different roles, different connections within the opposition, reportedly.
So who's first on the list in the article?
The article leads with Samuel Sandy.
Samuel Sandy. And he's identified as?
Regional Vice Chairman for Region 4 and a member of the PNCR.
Okay, a regional official. And the article mentions his endorsement.
Yes, specifically an endorsement for President Dr. Irfan Ali. And it includes a reason reportedly given by Sandy.
What reason does the article provide?
Well, it quotes him as believing, the PPPC remains the only political movement with the experience, competence, and inclusive vision necessary to unify our diverse society while responsibly managing the opportunities and challenges of our rapidly changing nation.
That's a very comprehensive quote attributed to him there.
It is indeed.
Okay, who else does the article mention?
Next up is Daniel Serum.
Serum and his role.
The article identifies him as an executive member of the PNCR and also the Region 4 chairman.
Another Region 4 figure.
Yeah.
And he also endorsed President Ali.
For a second term, yes, according to the source. So another significant name reportedly making this move, as presented in the article.
All right, anyone else?
Then we have two attorneys at law mentioned, James Bond and Selwyn Peters.
Okay, James Bond and Selwyn Peters. What does the article say about their connections?
Well, for Bond, it notes he previously held senior positions within the PNCR.
Right.
And Peters, it says, has represented opposition persons in legal matters before.
And both of them, according to the article, have thrown their support behind President Ali.
Publicly endorsed and supported him. Yes, that's what the report states.
Interesting. Okay, keep going.
Then there's Dr. Richard Van West Charles.
Van West Charles. He's described as a former PNCR Central Executive Member.
Correct. And the source makes a point of mentioning his family connection.
Which is?
He's the son-in-law of the former president and PNC founder, Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham.
Right, that's a significant historical link. And what does the article say about his reasoning?
It reports his belief that President Ali is the leader Guyana needs right now. The reason quoted in the source involves him having witnessed, and the article uses the word palpated.
Palpated.
Yes, palpated the performance of President Muhammad Irfan Ali over the last 4 years.
Okay. And did it mention any specific areas of performance?
It did. According to the article, he specifically highlighted Ali's work in ensuring that there is increasing participation of our people based on the resources emanating from the petroleum industry and other industries.
Got it. So focusing on participation and resource management. Who else is on this list from the article?
Thandi McAllister, identified as a former PNC member.
Thandi McAllister. And she joined the PPPC.
Reportedly joined in April, so quite recently as well. The article quotes her reason as believing in President Ali's vision.
Which she said he outlined to her personally.
That's what the source states, yes.
Yeah.
That he personally outlined it to her.
Okay. Are there others mentioned with PNCR ties?
Yes, two more. Lance Smith and Patricia Chase Green.
Smith and Chase Green. What were their reported former roles?
Smith, the article notes, was the former general secretary of the GYSM.
The Guyana Youth and Student Movement.
Exactly, the PNCR's youth arm. And Chase Green is identified as a former Georgetown mayor and a, long-standing PNC member.
Okay, so established figures and their move.
Interestingly, the article says they broke ties with the PNC and joined the PPPC back in 2023.
Oh, so earlier than the others mentioned recently.
Yes, specifically, the article says, to contest the local government elections, the LGEs, in 2023. But they're included in this context by the source.
Right, included in this list associated with the Attorney General's recent comments. Now, I think the article also mentioned shifts from other parties, not just the PNCR.
You're right. It does broaden the scope slightly. It mentions leaders of some smaller parties have also reportedly joined the PPPC ahead of the 2025 elections.
Okay, which parties and leaders does the source name there?
It lists Shaz Ali.
From the Citizenship Initiative, TCI.
Correct. Then Asha Kissoon.
The New Movement, TNM.
Yes. And Lennox Schumann.
Of the Liberty and Justice Party, LJP.
That's right. All three, according to the article's account, have joined the PPPC.
So if we step back and look at the overall picture this one article presents, what's the reported trend?
Well, based purely on this source, it's painting a picture of a series of individuals, people previously linked to the PNCR, some quite prominent.
Right, regional leaders, former execs, people with historical ties.
Exactly. And also leaders from these other smaller parties, all reportedly moving towards the governing PPPC.
And this is all framed by those strong statements attributed to the Attorney General about the PNCR hemorrhaging.
Yes, that's the context the article provides for listing these names. It definitely raises the question, just based on this source, about the potential significance of this particular group of endorsements being highlighted together.
You've got people from regional government, historical figures, former officials, lawyers, youth leaders, and these smaller party heads.
It's quite a mix presented in the article.
So connecting this back to you, our listener, thinking about the information presented just in this article, why might understanding these reported shifts and the way they're being described be relevant as elections get closer?
Well, according to the source, the reported movement of these specific named people could be seen as potentially indicating something about the political dynamics, maybe allegiance shifts, perhaps strategy. At least that's the narrative being put forward by the Attorney General as reported here.
Right. So to sum up our deep dive into this iNews article, we've seen Attorney General Anil Nanlal's reported assertion of a major exodus from the PNCR, using that very vivid hemorrhaging language.
And the article details endorsements for the PPPC from a whole list of named individuals, people formerly with the PNCR or other parties.
All highlighted, according to the source, in the run-up to the 2025 elections.
So maybe a final thought for you to consider, based only on what we've discussed from this source material. What might the reported movement of these specific figures, grouped together in this way by the article, suggest about the dynamics of political loyalty and strategic positioning as an election approaches?
Something to mull over as you encounter other information and perspectives.